Imagine being trapped on an island in the middle of a freezing bay, where escape is impossible, where every night feels like your last, where the walls close in and the darkness never ends. This is Alcatraz, and what happened inside these walls will haunt you forever. Most people think they know this place. They have seen the movies, read the stories, but the real Alcatraz, the one that existed behind those iron bars, was something far darker, far more terrifying, something that no film has ever truly captured. Tonight, we go inside. We walk through the corridors that broken men walked. We enter the cells where hope went to die, and we uncover the secrets that the United States government never wanted the world to know. The true story of Alcatraz starts right now. Alcatraz Island sits in the middle of San Francisco Bay. For thousands of years, it was nothing more than a cold, rocky island surrounded by dangerous water, no trees, no shelter, just stone, wind, and freezing ocean as far as the eye could see. But in 1934, the United States government made a decision that would change everything. They looked at this cold, empty island and saw something very different. They saw the perfect prison, a place where America's most dangerous criminals would simply disappear. And so, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary was born, the most secure prison in American history. Designed with one purpose and one purpose only, to make sure that once you entered through those iron doors, you would never, ever come back out. They chose this island for one simple but deadly reason. The freezing cold water surrounding it made escape almost impossible. The distance to shore was over a mile. The currents were unpredictable and violent. Nature itself was part of the prison design. Sharks patrolled the waters below. The temperature of the bay dropped below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. If a prisoner jumped into that water without a plan, hypothermia would take him within minutes. The ocean was not just a barrier, it was a death sentence. From the shore of San Francisco, you could see the island every single day, a dark silhouette sitting in the fog. A reminder to every citizen and every criminal that Alcatraz was real, that it was waiting, and that some men never came home from that island. Life inside Alcatraz was unlike any other prison in America. From the moment you arrived, everything was taken from you. Your name became a number, your freedom became a memory, and your future became something you were no longer allowed to think about. Prisoners were allowed only 4 basic rights: food, clothing, shelter, and medical care. Everything else was a privilege that could be taken away at any moment. Guards watched every movement, every breath, every single second of every single day. The cells were only 5 feet wide and 9 feet long, smaller than most people's bathrooms. A tiny bed, a metal toilet, a single window with iron bars. This was your entire world. This was everything you would see, day after day, for years on end. The routine never changed. Wake up at 6:30 in the morning. Work all day in complete silence. Return to your tiny cell at night. Stare at the ceiling. Then do it all over again the next day. Week after week, month after month, year after year, with no end in sight. Even meals were taken in complete silence. Guards stood at every corner, watching every movement, every bite, every glance. If you spoke without permission, the consequences were severe. The psychological pressure inside that cafeteria was absolutely unbearable. Many prisoners later said that the silence was far worse than any physical punishment they had ever received. When you cannot speak, cannot laugh, cannot even whisper, your own mind begins to turn against you. And inside Alcatraz, that was the greatest danger of all. But the real horror of Alcatraz was not found in the cells or the cafeteria. It was found deep below the prison, in a place that most people never knew existed. Guards called it the hole, and prisoners who went down there were never quite the same again. Officially known as solitary confinement, the hole was a place of total and complete darkness. If a prisoner broke any rule, no matter how small, they were thrown inside, and the door was locked behind them. And then the light was turned off completely. No light, no sound, no human contact, no way to tell if it was day or night. Just you, the cold stone floor, and the suffocating darkness pressing in from every direction. Some prisoners spent days in there. Others spent weeks, completely alone. Guards who worked the night shift reported hearing screaming coming from the hole. Screaming that would suddenly stop in the middle of the night, and never start again. What happened in those final, silent moments
has never been officially explained.
Doctors who examined prisoners after their time in the hole wrote reports that were deeply disturbing. Many had lost complete touch with reality. They could not remember their own names. The darkness had not just punished their bodies, it had shattered their minds entirely. In 29 years of operation, 36 men attempted to escape from Alcatraz. Most were caught within hours. Some were shot trying to run. A few drowned in the freezing bay. Every single escape attempt had failed. Until June of 1962, 3 men, Frank Morris, and brothers John and Clarence Anglin, 3 ordinary criminals who had been sent to Alcatraz because every other prison could not hold them. Now they were about to attempt something that the entire United States government said was impossible. For months they worked in secret. Every night, while other prisoners slept, they dug through the concrete walls of their cells, using sharpened spoons stolen from the cafeteria. They hid the holes behind fake painted cardboard panels during the day. They made fake heads out of soap, toilet paper, and real human hair collected from the prison barbershop. Each head was painted to look realistic. At night, they placed them in their beds so the guards would see what looked like sleeping prisoners. At midnight, all 3 men removed the fake panels from their walls, crawled into the utility corridor behind their cells, and silently made their way up through the ventilation shafts toward the roof. One wrong sound, one dropped tool, and everything was over. They reached the roof of the prison building, and for the first time in years, they breathed air that was not filtered through iron bars. Below them was the cold black water of San Francisco Bay. Between them and freedom was 1 mile of the most dangerous water in California. They had secretly built a raft from over 50 stolen prison raincoats, carefully stitched together over many months. They inflated it using a modified accordion from the prison music room. Then they lowered themselves down and pushed off into the freezing darkness. 3 men, a homemade raft made of raincoats, and 1 mile of deadly freezing water standing between them and freedom. The current was pulling them sideways. The water was below 50 degrees, and the fog was so thick they could barely see their own hands. The next morning, guards performed the routine head count. At first, everything appeared normal. 3 prisoners, still sleeping in their beds, until one guard reached out to wake a prisoner, and the head rolled off the pillow and hit the floor. The alarm went off immediately. Within minutes, FBI agents were flooding the island. Coast Guard boats searched the bay. Helicopters swept the shoreline. But Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers were nowhere to be found. They had simply vanished into the cold, dark water of San Francisco Bay. To this day, the case remains officially open. The FBI has never closed the file on Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, because despite 50 years of investigation, they have never been able to prove with certainty that those 3 men are actually dead. Outro. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary closed its doors in 1963, just 1 year after the most famous escape in American history. Today, it stands as a museum, open to the public. Every year, more than 1 million tourists walk through those same iron doors that once meant no return. Outro.